few weeks back, I picked up this 2001 Porsche Boxster S for just $600. I knew it needed a lot of work. If you remember that first video, it was smoking and clanking, and so much more is going on with this car. So, let's find out how much it's going to cost me to fix this 2001 Porsche Boxster S. Oh yeah, it took an entire case of beer to get through this. Overall, the car is in decent shape on the outside. It did have a respray at some point. The last gentleman put on these funky aftermarket LED headlamps and the clear side markers, but there's no damage that I can see. There's no scratches, anything alarming. Overall, the body is in really good shape, like I said, except for that respray. Mechanically, this car is just a nightmare, and I think it's the perfect candidate for this YouTube channel to show what can be done to rebuild and bring these cars back to life. First up is the convertible top. As you can tell, the canvas is in really good shape. However, the plastic back window is gone. It needs to be replaced. So we'll just replace it with what's on there, a plastic convertible top. Figure $1,000 to have that done. Next up are the tires. All four wheels have a little bit of tread still left on them, but they're dry rotting. If you look real closely, you can see the cracking on those. They're going to need to be replaced. So you might as well add another $1,000 to that budget, and might as well start drinking. All right, let's get under and let's check out the suspension all the way around this. We'll get this wheel off here in a jiffy, and we'll see what we got real quick. Make this go by fast. All right, let's get this wheel out of the way, set it up over here. Lots of surface rust, as you can see on the rotor. That's not a big deal at all. Matter of fact, we're going to be replacing these. I don't see any cracks or any warpage in the rotors, but while we're in here, we might as well replace them. The pads actually look pretty good on this. However, not knowing what brand of pads these may be, the cheap auto parts store ones on there, so they're gone. Let's take them out. Most of the boots for the tie rods seem like in good shape on both sides. I found no play in the actual rod itself. The rubber tie rod end does look a little worn. Here the control arm, you can definitely see there's some aging on that rubber. We might as well go ahead and just put down in the budget to replace all the bushings, tie rods, ball joints, and other suspension pieces down in here. Throw in those brake rotors, new pads, probably a couple other things. I did check for the wheel bearings, and the wheels felt fine all the way around the car. And on the back end, same thing. New shocks for the back, new pads for the back, and probably change out those control arms as well while we're in there. And yep, looks like new shocks are definitely in order. Probably won't change out the springs. I'm okay with the ride height on those. Cha-ching! Next up are the seats. The passenger seat, is actually in decent condition except for that middle area right there. Look how far it's pulled away. No major rips, nothing bad. I think this could be reworked and conditioned, and the passenger seats, with the exception of that middle insert. Dashboard looks good, just dusty from sitting. Obviously would need a new gear shift, leather boot and knob. And the door handles need to be replaced on those as well. Here the driver's seat, big tear right here again. Same thing, that padding is just coming out. Another tear over here, and hard leather from just age, and that bottom cushion completely blown out. It's a big divot down there for when you're sitting. But other than that, though, maybe a new cushion, maybe a new backrest on that. Steering wheel on that is also deteriorated and eaten up. There's the driver's window. It's regulator is shot, as you can hear. Yep, it's time to be replaced. So add that to our list of things to do for the interior on this car. Next up is the stereo. It's an aftermarket sound system. I've pulled out a big subwoofer and a huge amp. I'm not sure if I want to go back to stock or keep what's there. And all the gauges look like they work, no LCD burnouts or anything. And also over here, it looks like we have a kind of a ripples and tears up on that, which could be easily replaced from any Porsche junkyard. Here you can see where they cut the stock amp, so I'm not sure if we'll reuse that or not. And there's all the wiring and the subwoofer and amp that I pulled out of this car. It just was taking up space and not something I want, so out the door it goes. Alright, I guess it's time to start talking about the engine, but before we can get there, I gotta get rid of this stupid turbo decal on the back of the car. Dear God. We'll start off with this problem. When I picked the car up, the dipstick was in the back of the trunk, and thought that's kind of weird. So I thought, let's get this back in its proper place, and which is pretty typical on these cars. The two-piece tube that leads the very long dipstick into the crank case obviously is busted and broken, and it's not making its way through, so we'll have to fix that. But this was just the beginning of the nightmare. Let's go back to the evening that I bought the car, and we can kind of hear and see what it was doing. And if you haven't watched that video, click up there in the right hand corner and you'll be able to see that video real quick. But just listen to this and watch it. Pretty gnarly, huh? Sounded horrible. Well, later on that week, had a chance to get underneath the car and take a look at this. Undid the flange bolt, the exhaust, and oil just started to leak out. This over on the passenger side. Could not believe that much oil. Not as bad on the driver's side, but still just leaking, dripping out. Horrible. So what are we going to do? I've been thinking a couple options. A lot of people suggested putting in a LS swap into the car, kind of like Tyler Hoover did on his Apollo 911. A good idea, but pretty penny, and not sure if I want to go that route and spend that kind of money for a car like this. But cool video, you should go watch it. It's pretty awesome. Other ideas, Jake Raby, who I've known for years from Flat Six Innovations, offers a M96 rebuild. Good idea. I checked out his website. A lot of information on there. That definitely may be an opportunity for us for the engine. And then we looked at buying a used engine from one of the many Porsche wrecking yards around the country to get it in the car, to get it running, so we can at least get some other projects going on the car for the time being, and then looking back maybe to Jake and having him build us something special, maybe something sweet on that. So with that being said, we add up all the numbers. If we do a pulled motor out of a wreck, we're looking at $12,000–$15,000 for this project. Cha-ching. After all this talk about money, I think it's time for a beer. Are you an early Porsche Boxster or Carrera 996 owner looking to do maintenance and repairs at home? Well, do me a favor and subscribe and check us out, because Porsche parts are not cheap. Thanks, guys.